D. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Farsi Show presented by MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. Did you hear it yesterday? Did you hear it? No, I'm not talking about the Phillies blowing a 5-0 lead in the fifth. I'm not talking about that losing the game 98-11 innings. I'm not talking about that, but did you hear it? What was my request? I had the almost exact, I think I had the exact quote. I said it yesterday. The only difference is it wasn't Nick Sirianni who said it. It was Jalen Hurts who said it. I wanted to hear something that alluded to the idea that Jalen Hurts was in more control of this offense from a game planning, schematic standpoint, maybe even play calling standpoint. And I wanted to hear from Nick Sirianni. The second I saw Howie Roseman up there, I went, he's not. I'm not going to hear it. I'm not going to hear it. He's not going to get asked. There's not going to be time to ask him. And whenever Howie's there, I feel like he always takes the shine off of Nick, if you will. And I don't mean that as a negative towards Nick. It's just kind of what happens. It's just reporting the news. It's just kind of what happens. But yesterday, it was pretty even Stevens for who was talking, who was getting questions and all that. But I didn't hear Nick refer to anything about Jalen Hurts taking more control of the offense. Just everybody improving. Everyone's got to improve. Everyone's working hard. Last year was last year. This year is this year. And fine, whatever. Also, I did hear from Howie Roseman, 13 picks in the upcoming season, the upcoming draft. They're not going to make all those picks, as we know. That means some wheeling and dealing back. So I look forward to that. But back to my request to go through yesterday. Just as far as what we were going to hear, let alone what we could see with the depth chart of the Eagles back on the training camp field for the first time. One of the things I really wanted to hear was Jalen Hurts taking more control. And wouldn't you know it, we heard that exactly from Jalen Hurts. We also heard some other great stuff from Jalen Hurts. I was texting with some people yesterday, and they're just like, they hated the Jalen Hurts press conference. They're like, what is there to, I don't get it. What is there to hate? Like, oh, you guy speaks like motivational posters, which is something I say. But he believes it. Like, he doesn't do it in a fraudulent manner. You know what I mean? He does it in a manner of which, hey, this is how I feel. This is what I think. I'm going to tell you. And he's real about it. And I know his line about I didn't wear the Super Bowl ring because I've moved past it. I'm on to this year. I was met with a lot of epic eye rolls from people. But I love that. And if you're just open-minded, even if you don't know Jalen, if you know Jalen Hurts, you know this is him. This is how he thinks. This is how he operates. But if you're not all that familiar with him, out of market maybe, or maybe just not an Eagles fan, you listen to that and you go, oh my God, he talks in movie lines. Come on. Yeah, but it's real. And if he believes it, and that's really how he feels, well, then that's some pretty great stuff. So I loved it. Jordan Mailata addressed the media yesterday as well. Saquon Barkley. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. We will get to the Phillies loss later on the show, but Cooper DeJean running with the ones at safety. Oh, yeah. Running with the ones at safety. I had safety as like his third position. Slot, nickel, outside corner, and then safety. But, oh, no. Vic Fangio has talked in the past about how he loves having those guys that can play nickel also at the safety spot because you got to be physical. You got to have that part of your game ready to fire. As far as starting outside corner, who was running with the ones yesterday? Keely Ringo running with the ones yesterday opposite Cooper DeJean, Quenyon Mitchell. Jahad Campbell was actually out there practicing. I remember, late August? Mid-August? When Nick Sirianni last addressed the media, he was talking about having him out there. Oh, hopefully we have him out there, in August. All right, well, hey, I'll take before August. I'll take 8 days, 7 days left in July where he's out there practicing. He's out there running around. Limited, but still out there practicing. The only guys that were practicing yesterday, Kenyon Green and Jalen Carter, they were out yesterday. The only other person that was limited, not including, of course, Nakobe Dean, who's going to start things out on the pup, but Cam Jurgens also limited yesterday at practice. I told you guys yesterday that when you report to training camp, when the team reports to training camp, there's kind of like this false excitement, like a false start, actually. It's like, okay, they're here. They're at the Novacare complex. But it's like the first day of school. You're just getting your books, okay? You're just getting your books. You're learning, okay, where your classrooms are and all that stuff. It really doesn't start till the next day. And yesterday was that next day. And seeing the guys run around out there, seeing Jordan Davis, like, dude, how much did you fall in love with Peloton? You weren't kidding. Man, looking svelte, looking lean. I was like, is he going to be a DN this year? What's going on? But from all angles, all reports, a really good day of practice for the defending Super Bowl champions. Now, I look at this roster, and we could go over the question marks again defensively and what they got in that spot, and whether or not Drew Makubu, who just signed his contract yesterday, has a little bit of catching up to do. I would doubt it. But Cooper DeJean starting out at safety is a bit of a surprise. That's an eyebrow raise. Jahad Campbell, as I mentioned, him being out there, although limited, that's a very pleasant surprise. But all in all, I have trust in Howie Roseman. I have trust in Vic Fangio, and I have trust in Nick Sirianni that they're going to get this team ready to play football in the upcoming season to play at an extremely high level. Now, not only will they do their job to make sure everyone's prepared for that, but everyone else, the players, will do what they need to do to make sure that they're prepared for that as well. So there's already a trust factor. So what could be bad for this season? Well, there's the obvious. There's the injury that everybody has to talk about. Everybody's got to deal with. But a Super Bowl hangover, a not keeping the main thing type of mentality, the distraction of trying to repeat. Now you say, oh, how do you get distracted just trying to win a championship? No. Difference. Trying to repeat. And I loved what Jordan Mailata had to say yesterday about this topic. Because to some people, this might sound like he is splitting hairs, but he is talking about something that is a very dangerous thing for people that get to the Super Bowl and lose, people that win the Super Bowl. Trying to repeat exactly what you did is a mistake. Because guess what's happening around the league? People are looking at everything you did last year, and they're going to come gunning for you. There's no sneaking up on anybody. There's nothing like that. People are going to see what you did. They're going to see how Jalen Hurts adjusted in the Super Bowl. They're not going to take him lightly anymore. Oh, okay, we just got to stop Saquon, and Jalen's not going to beat us. Oh, Jalen can beat you. So doing the same exact thing means you're staying the same while everybody else is adjusting to what you were able to do last year. So Jordan Mailata's mindset on all this is perfect. Forget about last year. Now, that's cliche. I forgot about last year. Yeah, not like this. Not the way Jordan Mailata is saying it. Here he is yesterday when talking about making sure that the Eagles come back to the field better than what they were last year.
And I think we've done a great job this offseason of just keeping the main thing. And the main thing was just moving on. That was the main thing this year, moving on. Because whatever we did last year, that's in the rearview mirror. And now it doesn't matter anymore. We're not defending nothing. We're not the defending champs. We're the 2024 world champs. That's it. We're not defending. Sorry. We're not. So I don't like hearing oh, we're the defending champions. We're not defending nothing. We just won the title. And now we've got to go win it again. Prove it all over again. And that's the mentality this team is going to have. We're not here to prove anything to anyone else but ourselves, and we know the mission. We're mission focused. So that's our approach, and I'm so proud of everyone here.
There you go. Now, you might say, well, yeah, but you still want to repeat. Oh, sure they do. Yes, if that's the way it goes down, then yeah. But shifting your mindset from a defending Super Bowl champion means, all right, well, it's still resting on the laurel that you earned something last year. They want to start completely fresh. And that's not easy for teams to do. And I have not heard a team, and we've listened to the Kansas City Chiefs in the past. Everybody says the same thing about, last year's last year, this year's this year, that kind of thing. I have never, this is such a Nick Sirianni, damn near OCD type of lesson with the players and the coaching staff. We're like, no, we're not just going to talk about how we're not going to repeat last year and all that stuff, and we're not defending champions. We're going to break it down. Last year's last year. No. We're going to break it down as to why we're not going to believe in the magic of last year. We'll just carry over into this year. This is a new team. We got new faces, especially on that defensive side of the football. Jordan Mailata on that offensive line, Stoutland blessing or not, there's going to be another new right guard on that offensive line. So things are going to change. You have a new offensive coordinator as well, Kevin Patullo. What are his fingerprints going to look like? Yesterday, A.J. Brown talked about wrinkles being thrown into this offense. That means changing things. Because if you stay stagnant, people are going to gain on you, and then before you know it, you're going to be looking up at them. and they're going to be looking down on you. The idea that so many of these guys went to the extent, like Jalen Hurts, for instance, individually just not wearing the ring. A.J. Brown said he went to the ceremony just to get the ring. He didn't eat. He didn't do anything. He said he just went to get the ring. Just, hey, in and out, pick up what we won, pick up what we earned, and then move on. These guys are so dead focused on not getting caught up in a Super Bowl hangover that it's the first time I've ever thought, like, they're so heavy in one direction, and it's great. I think it's great. But the thought went through my mind. I don't believe this, but the thought went through my mind. I'm like, this is like being so focused on not doing what they did last year. Is that going to be the distraction? Like, how, like this, like, no, right? They were so convincing. And whenever someone is overly convincing, I always just immediately, my knee-jerk reaction is this person is totally full of it. But literally everyone's got the same mindset. It's got to come from the top. It's got to come from the veterans and the coaching staff, obviously. And I think that this team really has it as far as we're not going to get caught up in any banquet tours of last year. Everyone throughout the offseason, yes, kept that main thing the main thing. And as Jordan Mailata said, that main thing this offseason was not getting pinned down to the idea of repeating as Super Bowl champions. It's about doing it again, but not repeating. Huh? I'll say this. For all the stuff I heard yesterday, whatever you need, guys. But if this is what you need to make sure that you do stay focused on keeping the main thing, if this is what you need to like, not have any Super Bowl hangover or anything like that, if this is what you need to make sure that you're keeping these young guys in check as well so they understand the culture here, and the culture is more than anything else, winning, then whatever you need, boys. Whatever you need. And by the way, that first part of that quote from Jordan Mailata, iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. You know what he's talking about there? And I know you've probably heard some of that clip on social media, but I want to give you more context. Iron sharpens iron is him talking about the veterans, obviously, and their desire to win again, but not repeat. And the rookies or the young guys and the new guys that are coming in here and want a taste of what the veterans on this team have. They want a taste of what Jordan Mailata, or excuse me, what Lane Johnson has with 2 Super Bowl rings. They want a taste. The iron sharpening iron is the rookies and the veterans. That's what he's referring to. The hunger of the rookies to get what the veterans have, and the veterans making sure that they stay the course, keep the focus, and bring the young guys along so they can help them win another. That's the iron sharpening iron. That wasn't in some viral clips that I heard, and I thought that was a very important thing because they're not going to do it on their own. It's not just going to be the veterans out there doing it. You're going to need guys like Jahad Campbell stepping up. You're going to need guys like Drew Kendall possibly stepping up on this offensive line. You're going to need guys like Ty Robinson stepping up on this defensive line. It's such a well-rounded group, masterfully put together. And their mindset going into this season is exactly what you want it to be. As far as the quote, let's hear one more thing from Jordan Mailata. So we talked last year about Jalix Hunt, the rookie. What was he going to do for this offense or this defense? And it wasn't much. And then as the season progressed, he's starting to come on and get stronger and get more comfortable. And then you saw him in the playoffs. Then you saw him in the Super Bowl. And you're like, all right, maybe they got something here. Then Josh Sweat leaves. Brandon Graham retires. And you think, all right, well, what's the next step here for Jalix Hunt? Certainly showed flashes, promise as a rookie. What could he do in the upcoming season? Listen, for the people on the podcast, listen to the inflection of Jordan Mailata's voice. For the people watching this on YouTube, Jeff McClain, Inquirer.com, asked Jordan Mailata about Jalix Hunt. And Jordan Mailata's face lit up like the 4th of July. He was so excited to talk about Jalix Hunt and his progression and the work that he puts in. You're talking about iron sharpening iron. Jalix Hunt on Jordan Mailata. Listen to this.
Jalix? Yeah. Oh, man, he's going to be special. He's going to be special, man. Just his burst, he has tendencies like Micah just to be able to cut on a dime like that. Man, I'm so proud of that guy, the way he works. And how do I go from Josh Sweat to Jalix, man? It's crazy. I was just like, man, Howie, give me a break for 1 year. Jesus.
Jesus. Can I get one crikey? Can I get one crikey, Jordan Mailata? That's all I ask, please. Anyway, crikey. Jalix, on. Anyway, that goes above and beyond the, well, what's he going to say? It's a teammate. Like, whatever people say, well, what's he going to say? Not all that. Comparing to Micah Parsons, who I know is in the news for other reasons, other glorious reasons right now. But anyway, hearing one of the best, if not, well, first off, the best football player last year, who was Jordan Mailata by Pro Football Focus, the best football player, talk about what a pain in the ass Jalix Hunt is. And he said, I know if he's giving me a hard time, then he's going to be giving other guys around the league a hard time. All right. Let me see it. Let me see it rip. Because if you have a healthy Nolan Smith and you have Jalix Hunt popping off at the clip in which Jordan Mailata is saying he could, if you have Azeez Ojulari somewhat healthy, you have Josh Uche being a veteran presence, then oh boy. Then this team, this defense that we've talked about question marks with, who replaces who replaces that production, who replaces that leadership. If these guys, if Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith can pop off and the new acquisitions can do their thing, then last year you're talking about the best defense in the NFL. You're talking about a blowout in the Super Bowl, pick six of Patrick Mahomes and all that. Then last year is just the tip of the iceberg compared to what these guys could do in Philadelphia. And listening to that yesterday, watching Jordan Mailata, how excited he was. You saw his face light up there. Jalix? He's ready. He's preparing you for a very impressive year from Jalix Hunt. So I love to hear that. Now, the best thing that I heard yesterday was from your quarterback. And there was a lot of great things said by him. And I have a couple of things that jumped out to me from him. One, just how the offense is coming together in general, the journey of an offense from year to year, all that stuff. He was asked about all the lists that he's on or not. And I can't believe it. I used it as the thumbnail. It's him smiling. Like, I don't think he showed teeth or anything. I don't think he smiled like that. For the people on the podcast, I just smiled with a great big grin. But he smirked. And he was just like, yeah, I'm just focused on being, being the best I could possibly be. And I was like, that's exactly what I want to hear. That's the line similar to the line that made me go, oh, maybe Jalen Hurts isn't, some bum. And it was when he was about to be his first year as a starter, and people were talking about Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson. And, hey, how do you stay focused on the task at hand with all this stuff flying around? I'm above it all. I go out there, I control what I can control. I'm above it all. Love that. That, especially after, it was like the Carson Wentz sensitivity training, especially after all that, to hear a quarterback go, yeah, I don't care. I'm going to go play my ass off out there, and that's that. Good for him. But did talk about that yesterday again when he just talked about the lists. He just, I'm going to focus on being the best I could possibly be. That's all you can be concerned with. The ring said, the moment was past. He also referred to the Super Bowl ring as something that was overdue. Damn, son. I absolutely love that. It was overdue. He's 26 years old. The Super Bowl ring was overdue. Good on you. Good on you. Didn't want to talk about the rings of the past, building more of a relationship with A.J. Brown. A.J. had a really interesting thing to say about him as well, about Jalen Hurts. He said they threw this really nice go ball. Jalen threw a really nice go ball. And the way the play went was like Jalen said, according to A.J. Brown, Jalen just said two words to him, and A.J. was like, yep, go ball. Done. Those are probably the two words. No, probably not. Probably too obvious for the defense. But just being on the same page, building more and more continuity together, I thought that was a really interesting thing. And then when he was asked the question, how much you've been involved in the evolution of this game plan, scheme, all that. Here's how Jalen answered it. And if you remember yesterday, I said, what I want to hear, and I thought I'd hear it from Nick Sirianni. I wasn't sure whether or not I'd hear it from Jalen Hurts. But I wanted to hear from Nick Sirianni about how much more control Jalen Hurts has over this offense. For two reasons. One, just the typical maturation and improvement of a quarterback. And the other is, all right, we might be a little shell-shocked. We might be a little gun-shy. We might be a little skittish on what Kevin Patullo brings to the table, considering the last time the Eagles hired from within, it did not end well with Brian Johnson. So I'd like to have a constant, and that constant be Jalen Hurts. Regardless of who the offensive coordinator is, Jalen Hurts, I want him running his offense. What makes him comfortable? Because I trust Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts, I know, will not play hero ball. That's the scariest thing about guys that have all the power, all the control. It's like, oh, no, I can do this. I'm going to take it on my shoulders. No, Jalen's like, no, I got weapons around me that I can and will trust. I won't try to do it on my own. By the way, speaking of hero ball, Lane Johnson yesterday, how do you improve? How do you stay on top? Not play hero ball. And he was referring to everybody on the team about their own positions. Not do it on your own, but realize it's a team. Well, Jalen Hurts certainly gets that. So yesterday, he was asked about his involvement in this offense and how often the coaching staff consults him now, especially as a Super Bowl champion and MVP.
Yeah, I think that's evolved, definitely. And it helps when you win. And so I do feel a sense of intensity from Coach Kevin and Coach Nick, and it's something that's great to see. And I feel a bit encouraged and pushed to take the Bulls by the horn in terms of what we are and who we are offensively, and kind of having a full grasp of it, so everybody's on the same page and I can represent everyone appropriately and where we are as an offense on the field, because it's just all 11 of us, and that's a unique task playing quarterback, having to lead the troops and be the field general and make plays when you need to, and just be the orchestrator of the band, play point guard out there. And so I take great pride in that.
Yeah. Responsibility to get everybody involved. His role evolving. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Jalen Hurts fingerprints on this offense, and it's not just checkdowns. It's not just audible. It's part of the game plan. And this might sound obvious, like, oh, of course you want a guy like that. Yeah, well, that hasn't really been his MO, unfortunately. He knows when to check out of a play. He certainly proved that last year a number of times. But as far as being, first off, respected enough, evolving his own game enough, and then being the old cliche, a student of the game, has led this organization into thinking, well, all right, maybe it didn't work the first time when we hired from within, and guy that many people looked at as Brian Johnson is Jalen Hurts' guy. But we're not going to get scorned again. We're not going to get, or scorched again. We're not going to do that, because we know what we have in Jalen. And Jalen, if stuff hits the fan, he'll be the guy in control. And that's a great failsafe. I talked about a little step forward yesterday when we talked about Cam Jurgens taking over for Jason Kelce. One of the storylines going into last year was, can Jalen Hurts and Cam Jurgens be on the same page the way he was on the same page with Jason Kelce? Can Cam Jurgens help Jalen Hurts the way Jason Kelce helped him? Because that seems like a stretch. And it turns out Jalen was like, I got it. Hey, do you need help with the offense? And do you need Cam Jurgens to help you? I got it. And he had it. And I think he's still going to have it this year. And now he's being asked to have something else. Now, I don't mean that he's going to be calling his own plays and he's the de facto offensive coordinator or whatever. But I still feel pretty damn good about Jalen Hurts having more say on game plan and more say on play calling. Not just checkdowns, but actually the play. that's something I feel really, really good about. And he took a major step forward last year in being in control without a Hall of Fame center, playing, as a matter of fact, with a guy who's never played center at the NFL level before. Been a year since he played the center position. Yeah, I felt good about the step forward last year. And now it's going to be an even bigger step forward now that he's got, a 6 play caller in 6 years? Absolutely insane. So a lot of this is going to fall on Jalen Hurts' shoulders, and I look forward to it. And also the weapons around him, man. How awesome is that? And one more thing, by the way, from A.J. Brown, I mentioned, he said some things yesterday. Terrence Marshall, wide receiver they brought in. I loved what A.J. Brown was saying. Terrence Marshall beat Keely Ringo on a deep route practice yesterday that got some oohs and ahs from the crowd and all that. But Terrence Marshall is going to, quote, make the wide receiver room uncomfortable. Make the wide receiver room uncomfortable. Good. Shake things up. I still remember Jason Kelsey 2 years ago, 3 years ago, talking about comfort. Everyone talking about comfort. Once you comfort is poison. Well, yeah, uncomfortable, that makes everybody just a little bit better. Everybody on the edge of their seat just a little bit. They're ready to go out there and do their thing. So, yeah, really enjoyed yesterday. All the things I heard, all the things said. Oh, by the way, Jalen Hurts. So, yeah, when I said earlier I wanted to hear the quote that he took the bull by the horns, it wasn't exactly the quote. He said bulls. There's multiple bulls, and he's got to take all their horns, apparently. Hey, whatever you got to do to win another Super Bowl, man. Just I feel bad for the Bulls. You know what I mean? Another things A.J. Brown talked about. I love that, again, the line about coming to the event early and then leaving without eating just to get the ring. Thinking about only being in the moment. Every day you're a new person, that kind of thing. Patullo definitely tried some things, new wrinkles. I mentioned that. It can always get better. He mentioned Terrence Marshall, continuity, continue to build. He called Cooper DeJean All-Pro Coop. All-Pro Coop. And then this was really interesting yesterday. If you want to go back and watch this, I think it was on Eagles press conferences. I think that's where I timed this. At the 5:15 mark of that, he's asked a question about how you can get better. You've been an All-Pro, been a Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion. How do you get better? Where's the drive come from to get better? And I'm not kidding you. A.J. Brown, he took about a 15 to 20-second pause in answering that question. And it went so long that I was like, is he just not going to answer this? Is he waiting for somebody else to ask a question? And he just took a long pause, and he said, just continue to get better. And he said, put a stamp on it. I mean, stamps come in books for the most part. Go ahead and get them stamps. Go ahead and get that book, A.J. Brown. Go ahead and get that. One of the things that did make me laugh yesterday, Devontae Smith was asked about why he was so quiet in the Eagles locker room after the Super Bowl and why he was only in there for a little bit. And he, it wasn't anything like, because we saw him emotional on the sidelines. He's crying. Jalen Hurts throwing a hug on him and all that. Why wasn't he in the locker room that much? And why was he so quiet, kind of sitting by himself in the corner? And he said, oh, that's cigar smoke, man. I can't breathe that stuff. Like, that just gets me. That gets me. Thought that was funny. And then as far as Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni went, guys are working hard. A lot of confidence in the linebacker room. Great to have Campbell out there. Joe Douglas back in the Eagles front office. Howie's excited to have him. Vic not just being a good coach, but a good teacher and developing talent, according to Nick Sirianni. Anthony Patch, who left for the Raiders, I believe, was in the front office for, I believe, 22 years. So Howie knew him well. They knew each other well, as you would assume. And just Howie Roseman just absolutely threw a lot of love on that guy. And it was just like, yeah, I'm going to miss Anthony Patch. So it's worth noting. Tush Push getting better at it. Nick and Howie telling each other how great they are. Like, I don't doubt that they mean it. I just think it's so weird when they're just sitting there and be like, well, he's so great. And then the next guy, well, he's also great. Oh, we're both great. Yeah, that's what I got out of yesterday. Players are hyper-focused. I always love that word. Not just focused, we're hyper-focused. So there you go. That's according to Nick Sirianni. And just, one more time just for the hell of it.
Take away the scoreboard.
Terry McLaurin's that whole thing is also going on. I feel like the Commanders are going to take care of that. Scary Terry and all that. And I don't feel so great about the Cowboys helping their situation. And I think I feel for everyone when I say
that's pretty dope.
There you go. All right. Your Philadelphia Phillies played a baseball game last night. They were leading 5-0 in the fifth inning, going into the fifth inning. Jesus Luzardo had a no-hitter going into the fifth inning. He had walked one. And then the wheels exploded off the Jesus wagon. Double walk. Went on to get 2 outs in the inning. Walked 4 in total. Walked two runners in with the bases loaded. And then gave up a grand slam. A couple things to unpack in this fifth inning before the Phillies went on to lose 9-8 in 11 innings. In that fifth inning, what the hell took Topper so long? He threw 39 pitches. He walked 4 guys. Gave up a leadoff double. Okay? Yoshida doubled, walked Rafaela on 4 pitches. Struck out Abreu on 3 pitches. Okay, maybe he's not going to lose it here. Maybe things are good. Then got Narvaez to pop out to short. So I got 2 outs in the inning. Then he walks Meyer. Now you got the bases loaded. You got 2 outs. You know that Jesus Luzardo has just absolutely lost it in the blink of an eye over the last, 2 months. Okay? How is somebody not up and throwing in the bullpen? So how about this? Bases loaded, 2 outs. You have a little mound conference, so you bought even more time. He faces Ref Snyder. 2-0 pitch. Ref Snyder pops it up. Foul territory behind home plate. JT Real Muto doesn't see it, but he looks like he sees it as he gets up, flips the mask off, runs towards the Phillies dugout trying to track the pop foul ball. And then all of a sudden you just hear and I'm like, what, was that concrete? Was that the warning track? I didn't see the ball come down. It wasn't in the camera shot. ESPN did not have the camera shot. And they were following JT, and the cameraman's doing his job following JT. They can't find the baseball. I'm like, where the hell's the baseball? And then I hear Carl Ravens go, oh. Oh, that's not, oh boy. JT just lost it. It was popped up, gets out of the squatting positions behind him, and he loses it completely. Luzardo's pointing to it. I don't know why Luzardo, maybe he didn't see it. He was just pointing that it was a pop-up. I don't know. Pop foul. And the ball drops right behind the home plate area. Would have been the 3rd out of the inning. Would have gotten out of it for Jose Alvarado without any runs crossing the plate. Would have still been 5-0 in favor of the Phillies. But instead, he ends up walking Ref Snyder. Then he walks Duran on 4 pitches. Another run comes in. And is he still pitching, or does Rob Thompson go get him? No. Rob Thompson does not go get him. Rob Thompson leaves him out there. Then he gives him a grand slam to Romy Gonzalez on a changeup that just stayed up enough, and he went down far enough to get. You went from a 5-0 lead to a 6-5 1-run deficit in that 5th inning. How the hell does this happen to Jesus Luzardo so often? Let's correct that. How the hell does Rob Thompson just continue to leave him out there? He did this. I was thinking about this last night during the postcast. It was Mick Abel. I was trying to think of there was another guy that couldn't throw a strike anymore, and Rob Thompson was just like, maybe the next one will be a strike, ball 4. Damn it. All right, maybe this next guy will be a strike, ball 4. All right, maybe this next guy will be a ball 4. Go get him. There's plenty of time with a little mound conference thrown in. They didn't go get him. They left him out there for 39 pitches and 6 runs, 4 walks in 1 inning on 2 hits. That's giving the damn game away. So Phillies struggle offensively. The only time they had a little bit of a surge that really made you believe was in the 8th inning, Aroldis Chapman came in. Now, here's the deal. He came in the bottom of the 7th inning, get 1 out. And I was like, okay, they're going to use him from 1 out because they're not going to have him do an up-down. God, if you don't do up-downs, what are we doing here? Aroldis Chapman, 37 years old, comes back out for the 8th inning. He faces Harper, Castellanos, and Real Muto. He gets Bryce Harper to fly out to left, Castellanos fly out to right, and then JT Real Muto steps up. Now, here's the deal. Aroldis Chapman has not been asked, by my count, he has not been asked to get more than 3 outs in an inning. He's asked to get 4. He has not been asked to get more than 3 outs in an inning in his last 72 appearances. It's been 72 appearances since Aroldis Chapman has been asked to get more than 3 outs. So I'm like, they got to make him pay for this. They got to make him pay for this. They got to make him pay for this. Because I was thinking, 37 years old, wait, he can't do too many of these up downs. He can't do too many of these 4 outs, that type of deal. So I went and looked it up. I was like, oh, yeah, it's been 70, almost a year and 2 weeks the last time he got more than 4 outs. So JT Realmuto goes up in the count with 2 outs. 2-1, gets a sinker up in the zone, and he puts it over the center field wall, man. Puts it over the center field wall. 6-6 ball game. There's some new life. JT gets a little redemption for not seeing the foul ball earlier in the game that would have led to no runs being scored in that 5th inning. But unfortunately, the only other run that the Phillies could muster was an RBI single from Kyle Schwarber in the bottom of the 10th inning to retie the score. This time it's 7, and that was that. Max Lazar, they got to him this time with an RBI double from Trevor Story. That made it a 7-6 game in the 10th. 11th inning, Narvaez, how about this? Carlos Narvaez, who has 2 separate catcher interference calls, awarding 2 runs essentially to the Phillies. Now, the Bryce Harper stealing of home, he would have been safe anyway, but still, that you award runs twice. Well, he awarded 2 runs, and then he got 2 runs with a 2-run home run in the top of the 10th inning off Seth Johnson. When I was saying earlier about the David Robertson acquisition, I'm not excited that David Robertson's here. I'm just excited that David Robertson is not, Seth Johnson. Or was it Daniel Robert? I'm more excited that he's not those guys. And I know he's 40, but you're going to get somebody who's in here who's done it for a long time. I'm happy about that. I'm not excited, but I'm happy about it. And then whatever other acquisitions got to be made, because another one's got to be made, Dave Dombrowski. Talking to you, Dave Dombrowski. Big fan of the show, Dave Dombrowski, by the way. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. And then the Phillies get an RBI single from Johan Rojas in the bottom of the 11th. And that's it. That's all they were able to muster, unfortunately. 9-8. They take the loss. They fail to complete the sweep for the Bo Sox. And at the same time, the New York Mets sweep the Angels. So now the Phillies are looking up at the Mets by a half game in the division. Phillies are off today because we need a break. We need a break. I really feel like the off days have been placed in good spots. Not for the Phillies, but for us. Okay, I'm going to need some time. I can't watch you tonight. They'll be back at it. Taijuan Walker will be on the hill at Yankee Stadium. So that's fun. Oh, boy, we're all having fun here. We're all having fun. Rumors swirling about when it comes to the Phillies and who they could be targeting. They had Buster Olney on the Wednesday night broadcast last night. He was certainly talking about it. Stephen Kwan, the Phillies still have interest in from the Guardians. I haven't seen much on Emmanuel Clase as far as any connection out of the Phillies anymore, other than Jeff Passan's comments. Duran here of the Red Sox, obviously. I'm not as big on Duran as some other people. But I know people really want to see that deal done. You'd have control also. I want a guy that I know is going to go up there, get good at bats, and get on base and play great in the outfield. And by the way, speaking of playing great in the outfield, Durant certainly did that last night as well. He was playing a really good center field. Did everything he could to try to get that JT Realmuto home run, but it just wasn't happening. But that, yeah. I see you there, yeah. Brian Pumper, a break, Farzy? They just had the All-Star break. Yeah, I need another one. That wasn't enough. Plus, they came back and they just lost more. At least they won the series with the Red Sox, right? Anyway. So yeah, Phillies off today. Back at it on Apple TV. Sorry, or congratulations. Apple TV Friday night, 7:05 start time at Yankee Stadium. And then the next two games are their day games, Saturday and Sunday. So that'll be fun. So there you go. All right, hey, let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. And when you use promo code Farzy, you get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. And don't forget about the Game Time Picks feature on the Game Time app. You know what that does? That filters out all the fluff so you get right down to it. The best seats at the best prices on the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's phlsportsnation.com. And how about Brett over at Sky Motor Cars, skymotorcars.com. Check out Brett's amazing inventory at skymotorcars.com. Before I get into the chat check, Phillies game yesterday, two more things on it. It started off with so much promise. Well, one thing on it. Started so much more promise. Schwarber and Harper, back-to-back home runs. Number 34 on the year for Schwarberian. That's pretty awesome. Castellanos hit a homer as well yesterday, made it a 4-0 game. Bryson Stott had his wife and him had their second child, their first baby boy. That's beautiful. Changed his walk-up song to what? Give a boy a baseball. How beautiful is that? Then he only gets a double yesterday, and then he only gets a home run yesterday. It's his first extra base hit game, first multi-extra base hit game. What was the stat I saw in like the last 20 games combined? He hasn't done that. Gotten 2 extra base hits. Look, it's let's see, 3. It's like what? 4 of his last 5 months have been terrible. Maybe more than that. So I'm not going to do a cartwheel over one game, but I'm crossing my fingers. All right. Let's get into the chat check and see what you guys are doing. Rye, what's going on? Pin, what's popping? Kevin, hello. Anthony, hello. Them boys look locked in. They absolutely do. Talking about them Eagles. Hi, everyone. Hi, Sean. Anthony Gilbert, he was working out directly after the Super Bowl. That's just who he is. I've told you guys many times, one of my favorite things about Jalen Hurts at the end of last year, this tells you everything you need to know about him. You know, off-season plans, asked about off-season plans. And then that's when he proceeded to make the Super Bowl look like a wild inconvenience to his off-season regimen. Like, I'm already behind because I was, busy winning that Super Bowl. These other quarterbacks are already out there running around doing the workouts. They got their vacation already out of the way. And here I am just wasting time winning a Super Bowl. I will laugh about that till the day I die. April. Hello, April. Good morning. Jason A. Hello. Exciting Whites running the safety together. How about that? That's exciting safeties. You know what I'm saying? Yes, that was Sean. That was such an awesome quote from A.J. Brown's going to make the Terrence Marshall Jr. is going to make the wide receiver room very uncomfortable. Sean, like diamond in the rough, Terrence Marshall. Okay, I'll keep an eye out there. Jordan Davis looks similar or slimmer than Jalen Carter. Interesting. Everybody on the team seems to have moved on rather quick, and you got to love that. I love it. Mailata needs to be a captain. He's a union rep. He's their union rep. That's interesting. Also, Saquon Barkley was asked about being a captain. He was like, yeah, it doesn't really do much for me. I was like, all right, you do you, man. Philly Magic, Luzardo needs to be our closer for the playoffs. Interesting. Just let it rip for an inning. I will say this also. By the way, the Phillies got the 5 runs. That was great. But also, the no-hitter going into that 5th inning. So 4 innings, no-hitter, fine. Strikeout on a sweeper, 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 strikeout on a sweeper. 6 strikeouts going into that 5th inning. He'd end the day with 7 because he got Abreu in that 5th. for the first out with a runner on second and first and second for the first out of the inning. I got to be honest, when he walked Ref Snyder in the fourth inning on a 3-2 pitch, that it was a bad call, but either way, 3-2 pitch. I went, oh boy, here we go. This is the inning. This is going to be the fourth inning. It's going to be the inning again. It's going to be the fourth inning. He's not going to be able to throw a strike. He's going to get tattooed. And then he got out of it. Then the fifth inning happened. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Lead off double. Don't like that. Oh, a walk? That's not fun either. Strikeout. Okay, you have my attention. Pop out. Okay, let's get out of this. And then he did. And then he did. Going to tell you the sports analyst is making it really easy for them to move on. That's true. That's true. Anthony Hurt sounded like he's about to be a menace all season long. I can only hope so. Jeremy Von Skyver. Good morning, Jeremy. Last night during the post-cap, at one time during the chat, I noticed there were 98 people. I'll go. Thank you. That's a growing show. It's a growing show. Thank you. Imagine when Nolan gets 100% healthy, right? April says, Jordan looks happy to be back in camp. I'm here for it. He's contagious, man. You can't see that guy, be around that guy, and not just enjoy your moment there. Also, for a guy that apologizes for cursing every time he curses a lot. Which is, I don't know, I'm just saying. Makes you love him even more. Fuji! What's up, Mike Fuji? How you doing? Jerry Von Skyver, I just worry if one or two pass rushers go down, like what happened last season with Graham and and Puff. We don't have much depth as last season. Better stay healthy. Well, I mean, I will say pass rusher wise, Uche, Ojulare, Smile Mondin, Jalix Hunt, Nolan Smith. Like I actually feel better about the depth this year than I did last year going into the season. I didn't expect Brandon Graham to just like play the best I've ever seen him play. But pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I actually like where they're at depth-wise there. I'm not too concerned. Mike Fuji, what's going on? Good morning. Jason A. Thank God Jalen's our quarterback, right? I'm with you. Jason Farsi, did you see Merrill Reese got a pair of signed Jalen Hurts cleats? And it said, you saw it in me when no one did. Thank you. He's an incredible guy. I did not see that. Just see my shoes. Those are nice shoes, Merrill. Thank you. All right. April, that's my quarterback, right? Ugh. Phillies are 3-8 in the last 11 games started by Jesus Luzardo. Jesus. Ay caramba. April, that inning was a total crap show, right? Oh, Sean Conner, Bryce Harper becomes the youngest active player on the 350 home run club. How about the list they showed last night? It was like all Hall of Famers. It was like 350 home runs. And I forget the other number. But it was like before the age of 33 or 34, whatever it was. Yeah, my memory sucks. Sorry. Oh, Jason A. We've all done it. It's terrible. Turned it off for like 20 minutes when it was 5-0, then came back 6-5. I was like, what the hell? Right? Jordan Davis says, right. Jordan Davis's weight down so much actually concerns me. Ooh. He was dominant being the dancing bear. Now he's a crying squirrel. Yeah, he really did fall in love with that Peloton. That's for damn sure. Jordan Davis yesterday, or when we saw him yesterday, but over the offseason, fell in love with the Peloton. But hey, the goal for him this year would be to make you not miss Milton Williams, meaning he could be out there for more than 37% of the snaps. And maybe that's the ultimate goal here. Maybe it's not Ty Robinson comes in and he takes over for Milton Williams and you get that production from him. No, maybe it's Jordan Davis, who, by the way, is essentially on a one-year deal with his $13 million contract pickup from his rookie deal. Maybe this is him saying, no, you can use me for more than 37% of the snaps. This could be more. This could be more. A lot more of me and Jalen Carter on the field together. Love to see it. Too much weight loss, maybe. I can't remember the name of it. Jason, Farzy speaks like he has the guy from The Critic on, one of my favorite shows back in the day. That would be John Lovitz. And yes, I am a big John Lovitz fan. I know because I do watch myself sometimes just to see what I'm doing, see how the show looks and all that stuff. And I noticed that my heavy influences there are John Lovitz, Norm Macdonald, and those are probably two of the main ones in terms of just the way my brain operates, because I've watched those two guys so much that I just can't help but every once in a while. I actually interviewed John Lovitz once. And Norm Macdonald liked 2 of my tweets. That was fun. But I interviewed John Lovitz once, and I think it was the worst interview ever. And I blame myself as the interviewer. But I will say he was really flat. I was expecting John Lovitz. And I got, oh, hello, everyone. I was like, what? That kind of threw me off. Oh, Mondin. Well, didn't he? Wait a minute. Mondin had, maybe I'm confusing it for somebody else. I thought Mondin had played on the edge in college and then went to inside. Maybe I have him confused with somebody else. I might be thinking about somebody else. Yeah, okay. Don't quote me on that, Jason, but thank you. Thank you for calling me on it. Farzy, when are you starting your WNBA podcast? Not yet. Not yet. Oh, thank you. Couldn't remember. There you go. Love it. There you go. Now, I mentioned Jahad Campbell. He's an option to play edge. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Oh, the Virginia Tech kid. Oh, damn it. That is who I'm thinking of, I think. I'm glad you guys know. Yes. Antoine Powell Ryland. That's who I'm thinking of. Smile Mondin was a 5th rounder. Yeah, the Georgia kid. Yeah, thank you. Power Ryland. There you go. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great, as per usual. And you guys are now peppering me with it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you. You guys are great. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome, as per usual. Time for the morning rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Eagles camp, Phillies day off. I'll be back with you guys later today. Locked On 76ers podcast with Keith Pompey coming up at 10 o'clock. And then we'll break this down even further on Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. So make sure you guys check out Locked On Eagles YouTube channel. Me, Harry Mays, Jason Ratitas, Louis DiBiase. We'll be talking all things Eagles training camp, getting you ready for the rest of camp and the season as it quickly approaches. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is The Farzy Show. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe to The Farzy Show. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe to Jacob Media. Make sure you guys, again, hit like and subscribe to Locked On Eagles YouTube channel and Locked On Phillies, as well as Locked On 76ers, where you get a hell of a lot more of me. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. And, hey, for the first time, go Birds.